Hey, what's going on? It's Luke. I wanted to share with you something that's probably never going to be finished, but just for the sake of I don't know, posterity or whatever, I wanted to sort of show it off. This is a little game that I started working on. The last time I really worked on it in earnest was about November of 2016. Because I think in August of that year there was a Humble Bundle promotion thing where you could get the full version of Game Maker Studio. When I set out to make this project, I wasn't even sure it was going to go anywhere to begin with, but I wanted to show you guys what I made. You control this little square dude. He sort of has this not quite walking animation where he like kind of bobs up and down and does this little like dust thing when he walks, and you can wander around this little town, but really, all you do is just like run around, and you can talk to some of these NPCs. Like, there's this little cat here, who says, meow and meow and stuff, and eventually says, "I'm going to kill you," and then won't say that ever again. Like, you can cycle through all of the cat sounds as many times as you want, and the cat will never say that again. I kind of thought that that'd be a funny thing to throw in there, but when I was making it, my focus was just on every time I added a new concept that it ran smoothly. You can talk to people. They have things to say. For my own purposes, I made all of the inaccessible doorways blue, but the accessible ones are black or some kind of gray. And I made maps that you can look at. You press a little button and it just shows you that. And the map right here, like you can see, I made the town to be sort of like a circle. I know it kind of just looks like a target or a cobweb or whatever, but like that is the map of the town. So this room right here that you can go into that has all of these doorways that are evenly spaced apart, it's like that is the center of the circle. And then when you go out through any of them, you're like one space away from there. So like this doorway kind of looks like it's in front of you. So it's like as you move into the foreground, you're moving inside the circle. I don't know. Like, I thought it was cool at the time. I don't know that that would translate super well into actual gameplay were this a finished thing. But then all the doorways that you appear in front of, like this one, when you go through them, you end up, and the map shows you, like, you're a step out more in the circle. And every time you walk off the screen and go to a new area, you're just, like, continuing to walk along this path that brings you back to the other end of the circle. Or octagon in this case, since there's 8 segments to it. But most of it is just pretty empty. Like, I built the exteriors of a bunch of houses, and some of them have, like, bushes and fences that exist in the foreground and are kind of satisfying to walk through. But there are a couple houses that I did furnish. I didn't put any characters or anything inside, but they've got furniture, houses, stuff, just like some lamps, some wall things, a stairway you can go up. I never quite got the ramp physics to work like I wanted to, so like you ascend stairs normally, but then when you try to like jump off of them, you kind of just do one of those, and I thought that was super weird. I never got that to work quite right. I kind of wanted it to be the kind of thing where you never jump, but rather just like slide along the ground, and everything that you need is accessible via flatland or stairs, or ramps or whatever. Um, but like there's this room that's a bathroom, and I messed up the door there. It's in the wrong spot. Um, I made all of the art assets, by the way. Like, this is all custom pixel art by me, which I'm mostly happy with, but I don't think that it doesn't all go together super well, even though the individual pieces I think are pretty good looking. There's this house that has a picture of a cake and a little pennant thing on the wall, more doors you can go into, and another bathroom, and things that are pretty inconsequential, just because I wanted to make the world some kind of livable, I guess. Everything is made to be grayscale, and that was sort of part of the story idea. Another bathroom, yet a third bathroom you can go into. Part of the story idea was that you would go through this town, and like everything was sort of bleak and lifeless, and you help people out and do little quests for them and learn more about them, and slowly bring color back into the world. Which is why, and this is like a building that's been destroyed or unfinished or something like that. And that's why like the NPC characters you can talk to are these somewhat bright colors, while everything else is kind of just grayscale. But yeah, my emphasis while I was programming this was to just kind of make sure everything ran as smoothly as possible, make it satisfying to just do stuff in, even though I didn't program a whole lot other than walking and talking. But like when you walk up to someone, there's a little speech bubble thing that fades in above them, and I was pretty happy with how that turned out. And I added full gamepad support for it. I'm using an Xbox One controller right now to do all of the movement and stuff, and that went as far as like when you move the stick a little bit, you move a little more slowly and all that stuff, and the dust effect only shows up when you're moving at a certain speed. I was pretty happy with how that turned out as well. And the characters remember how many times you've spoken to them, so like I don't know. That was another thing that I was pretty proud of. And probably to anybody who has ever actually developed a game before, if anybody like that watches this, all of this seems pretty rudimentary, pretty like fundamental. But the fact that I was able to accomplish it pretty much on my own using very few tutorials and things makes me really happy. And I also added a thing where if you press F5 on the keyboard, you can cycle through a display that shows you a couple different kinds of control schemes. So like that little green A means you press the A button on the Xbox controller to talk to this person, or the X on a PlayStation controller, or the letter E, or space. And even if you don't have the control display set up that way, the buttons will still do the exact same thing. So I was pretty happy with that. That's pretty much it. It's kind of bare bones. It's kind of desolate. There's not much to do or say in its current state. But I do, and I only programmed to like the third layer of the town, and even then, like most of these buildings, you can't do anything, and like you can't walk in them or anything, and all these people you just talk to, and they have a couple things to say, but not much. That was a thing that I did, and maybe at some point I'll do more with it. Probably not soon, because I sort of left the project alone for long enough. The idea of going back into it and going back into the code and trying to do anything extra with it is a bit daunting. So I don't know. One last thing, I made it so that there's a little dev mode when you press F3 that shows you like how fast you're going and what part of the town you're in, and also toggles these little displays above the doorways that tell you what room they're gonna go to before you walk into them. Which I was pretty happy with how that turned out as well. But that's it. So thanks for watching, I guess. See you later.